I'm Caitlin Dryden, and this is Slut. I'm Caitlin Dryden, and welcome to Slut, the show where I question who is and what makes a slut. Today, I'm speaking with Multi. Multi is a musician, and I thought it was the perfect episode to release since it's American Thanksgiving, and we talk a lot about family and chosen family. We also talk about another totally family-friendly topic, cunnilingus. But before we get to that, if you have a slutty story or fantasy, call or text 910-745-SLUT. That's 910-745-SLUT, and tell me all about it to be featured in the last episode of the season. Okay, sluts, stick around. Multi is up next.
Hey everybody, my name is Multi and I'm a slut.
Multi, could you give listeners a context of where we're at right now?
Yeah, like we're in fucking Caitlin's dope ass space. We're at Silver Lake. It's nice as fuck. It's ghetto setup, but it's winning.
I have soundproofed my bedroom.
Yeah.
Multi and I are talking to each other across from the bed.
Yes, we are.
And I have taped up sheets, pillows, towels.
I love it. It's the most ghetto shit ever. I love that
to
shit
the wall
though.
to soundproof this space.
That's right.
So,
Fuck those egg cartons.
should I have used an egg carton?
I mean, no. It wouldn't have gave the same aesthetic.
No, okay.
This is some player shit.
All right.
Like,
yeah.
I thought this was like a part of your jam. Like, you know what I'm saying?
My jam?
Hell yeah. Like, you're like, I'm into hanging up sheets and shit.
Did you first walk in here and think I usually have it like this?
I mean, I was like, maybe this is your thing. I didn't know.
No, this is not my thing.
You know how people are like into like all these crazy ass sexual shit, and you're like, whatever, if that's what you into, hanging sheets and shit everywhere.
Okay, I'm a freak, but I'm not that big
You're
of
not
a
that
freak.
freaky? Oh, I wasn't judging. I was here to support either way. That's where my mind was.
First, we're going to start with a segment that I call Slut Bag.
Oh.
And what we do
shoot, there is a bag.
It's a bag.
Okay.
And you reach in it, there's some questions, and we're going to answer it. So we'll go back
That's
and
nice.
forth.
Okay, I like that.
All right.
That's dope. Okay. Okay, first question is, describe what an orgasm feels like for you. Oh, shit. We're getting right to it, aren't we? All right. What does an orgasm feel like? Heaven? It feels like heaven. Like, it feels fucking good. It's a release. Mm-hmm. It's, for me, well, damn, because here I am about to, like, give away all my details.
Get used to it. It's going to get worse.
By the end of this, y'all gonna know too much about me. It feels like, for me, I throb. So
Throb where?
there.
I
throb there. Yes. I throb there. I'm a throbber. When I come, bro, I feel so much better. But when
Same
I'm pent up, you can tell because I'm like, ooh,
gotta get that out.
Spicy as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, get out of my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If it's been a while and I'm pent up, bro, move. Get out of the way. Just move. Now, are you going to answer this question or am I going to answer it?
No, I'll answer it. I'll
this
answer
is
it.
good. I like
Oh,
reciprocity.
yeah. Don't
I'm
worry.
a fan of reciprocity now. Go ahead.
It's good.
What you got?
3 places you want to have sex and why. I'd like to eventually have sex at a sex club. That'd be really fun. I've never been to a sex club, so I don't know if I'd like it. So I have to see if I like it first, but I definitely like to do that. The beach, just because it's romantic and cute, I would love to do that. Mm-hmm. Even though it's sandy, I just have this idea of having a nice night at the beach and, cuddling under the blanket and getting it on.
That's right. Crashing waves and crashing cheeks. That's right. I love it.
Exactly.
Yes. One more.
In the woods.
Yo.
Have you had sex in the woods?
No, Caitlin, I'm black. Come on now. We usually not even over there. You know what I mean? We're not in the woods. We're driving by that shit. Yeah,
You're not
hands at 10
stopping.
to 2, eyes are straight. Like, we are not stopping in the woods.
No, okay. All right. That's the Canadian in me.
I was going to say, Caitlin, you showing your Canadian vibes right now. The maple leaf tree is showing right now your response. But the woods that's hot.
It is.
For you.
On a hiking trail would be
Yeah.
hot. You know,
Hell yeah.
I've done a few like slutty stories, and there's been a few people who talk about being in the woods and stuff. And so I want to try it.
Sex and nature. That's
Yeah.
basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I want sex
Now,
and nature.
That would be that's some next
On
level shit.
shrooms.
Hell yeah. On shrooms. Oh, shit. So there's nature and shrooms.
Nature and shrooms. Yeah.
Somebody's coming tonight. Somebody. They may be the trees. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't
Here.
know. Okay, what we got? Have you ever U-hauled? Oh, shit. I feel like you added this because you knew I was coming, Caitlin. I
Yeah.
used to be the queen of U-hauling.
Okay.
Oh, my God. But now it's like, fuck that shit.
You're not a U-hauler anymore?
No, not anymore.
What made you stop that?
Seeing the results of U-hauling?
Because you were married, right?
Yes.
And did you U-haul with that person?
Yes. We hauled too much.
How many dates?
I would say like it was like after the first one, we looked up and we were like together nonstop. And then it was like we looked up 6 years later. It was like, yeah, we U-hauled too long.
Oof.
Yeah. So
And
I
you moved
wouldn't-
to Vegas with that person too.
I did.
That's
We
crazy.
literally U-hauled to Vegas.
That's a crazy place to U-haul.
It was crazy, but Vegas was literally the best thing that ever happened to me.
Why?
I grew up there. Like I may have left legally I was an adult, but I still had a lot of childish ways to me. And it wasn't until I went to Vegas that I started finding out who I was. Like I'm still on that journey. Like I'm still trying to figure that part out. But me wanting to even figure that out happened in Vegas. I was able to go somewhere where no one knew me. I could be whoever the hell I wanted to be, figure out whatever I wanted to figure out, and I started doing that. And I really actually have a great deal of respect for Vegas. I do, and the people in it.
What did you learn about yourself?
One thing that I learned is I'm pretty fucking resilient. I didn't even realize my resilience, even with negative things. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
I'm riding till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
So to imagine that, like even when shit's going bad, it's like, but I made this decision. It's like, I got to stick it out. Like, you know, it's like I learned that I'm very resilient. And I realized my passion for entertainment and the arts when I was in Vegas. Being there was a lot of shows. There's always a lot of entertainers, headliners, and residencies and things like that. And I just really kind of like would see my name in the marquees. I would walk when I worked on the strip, and I would just kind of see my name in the lights and just imagine like if they can do it, like if Usher can do it, and Celine Dion, and like all these other headliners, I can do it too. And so that's where it started there in Vegas. So big ups to Vegas, man. 702.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Yes, no to shower sex. I can take it or leave it. I feel like shower sex is foreplay. Like doing penetration in the shower is a little hard, I think. Also, I don't like doggy, and that feels like the easiest thing to do.
There's so many questions there. Why don't you like doggy? What's wrong with that?
Okay, all of my exciting things are in the front. You know, I don't have a
Okay.
great ass. Like, I mean, my ass is cute. It's a cute ass, but I know where my assets are. And it's in the front. I also I'm like a romantic and I'm like very lovey. So I like to be like connected with that person.
Okay.
Do you like doggy?
I mean, now, are you asking if I like it done on me or if I like doing the doggy? Because, you know,
Well,
I got to understand the context before I give an answer.
both.
Okay, don't you do anything to me back there. What the hell? I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
But being masculine presenting, usually we have to be able to be flexible. So you got to be able to give it in the front and in the back.
Yeah.
You got to ask. See, I ain't going to mind the view. Come on here.
Right.
Come on here.
With a great ass, I'm sure doggy is lots of fun.
Listen, when the cheeks is a certain way, okay, that's too much. But I don't mind either or, honestly. It depends on the person. But if they do have a flat ass, usually it's like, I'd rather look at the back of your head.
Did you do your question or?
Oh, no. Let me do
Okay,
mine right now.
here you
Hold
go.
on. Here we go. Cunnilingus tips. Woo! Listen, y'all got the right person here. Y'all want to learn about eating pussy?
Yes.
Y'all want to do it better? Good. come in closer. Turn your radios up. And this is not safe for work, okay? So if you are at work right now, I want you to put your damn earphones on. This one is going to go to the ladies. If you want tips on how to get your pussy eating better, I'm going to give you some specific instructions that's going to help everybody.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Everybody. Make sure your pH is balanced. Some of the things to do, daily maintenance, chlorophyll. It is your friend. Yes.
What is that? Like,
chlorophyll is nature's remedy. It's an all-natural detoxifier. It deodorizes the body from the inside out. And you're not going to find any other substance.
A vitamin?
It's like an extract. Like, it's literally the extract from plants.
Okay.
This is a game changer. You get the chlorophyll extract. You do that in the morning. Couple drops in your water. Go on. It'll knock everything out.
No pineapple.
Pineapples work too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Pineapples work too, but on a more consistent basis, you want to do the chlorophyll. Because the chlorophyll is not only going to knock out like for the vaginal area, it's going to do the pits.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. It's going to do like, you know how you got the ass, like what sweaty ass smells like? It knocks that bad boy on out. Okay. And I know like people like rimming, whatever you're into, whatever.
Yeah.
But just because you like it don't mean your body smell good. Okay. I'm just saying, just like, okay, some people like their pussy ate, some people like cunnilingus, whatever you like, make sure you take care of that first, because when your pH is off, it gives you an acidic taste. And it's like putting your tongue to a battery. No one wants to put their tongue on a battery.
Have you experienced that?
Hell yeah, all the fucking time.
Interesting.
And it kills me because it's like everyone that's like, I like my pussy ate, give it to me, And it's like you go down there and it's like, hell no, I can't be down here long. Face about to burn off. Like, don't nobody want that.
Yeah.
And it's like so many other so boric acid is another thing.
I've heard of boric acid.
Be careful with all of these things. Like, always consult with your physician and all that. Don't go smacking apple cider vinegar up your shit.
Hell no.
You should
Don't
not be
put
doing
any
it.
garlic in your vagina
Don't
as
put
well.
anything in there. You're not even supposed to put anything in there.
Personally, the way I upkeep is I don't shave. Like, I'll shave my legs and stuff, but I trim. And I used to shave, and that would also fuck up my pH a lot. So I just like trim my pubic hair now, and I wash my vagina with just water, no soap. And then I'll put like a bit of soap in my butt crack. But since doing that, my vagina has been great. And also getting off birth control also helped my vagina a lot.
Yes, because she was happy. She was happy you did that, because those pharmaceuticals will throw you off every time.
And I'm not advocating for getting off birth control for everyone. But actually, I just released an episode last week with Lisa Hendrickson-Jack, and
shout out to Lisa.
We learn about fertility awareness methods. So if you haven't listened to that, you should go listen to that episode, and you can learn all about the fertility awareness method. And that's like natural birth control, essentially. But I don't recommend it for everybody. You need to be like in tune with your body. Which
you do. You have to be in tune with your body, but make sure you have like a daily hygiene routine for your vag. And that's for the women. Like, take care of that thing. Don't just throw some drawers on. Please don't. Please don't. They're like, because it already cleans itself, so you don't need to put everything up there. You don't gotta do all that. Some people do the steaming. Some people do like the yoni oils. Some people do like all these other things. And that's fine, but be careful, because you don't want to fuck yourself up. Like, you really want to do the things that...
No Vagisil soap?
No.
Do not do that.
No, you don't need that. It's a self-cleaning organism. It'll clean itself. However, if you eat shit, when it cleans, you're going to taste like shit. And that's what I be trying to tell people. Like, if all you eat is fast food, all you eat is artificial foods and all that, you can taste it. Especially if you get very excited. So just imagine a whole pile of stinky mess coming down, and you're down there and you're trying to do the best you can. Thighs are parted left and right, and you got your mouth full of vag, and you're like, what the fuck is this taste? And your face is burning. No one wants to go through that.
No.
So the way that you do that is by having a daily vag routine. You have to check on that thing. If you're a woman and you do the panties, check into the panty liners and make sure your discharge ain't off whack. Make sure you don't have like the cottage cheese type of discharge. If you do, go see your gynecologist and check in with your gynecologist regularly.
And this is something else that could be handy for like people who are maybe like struggling with their pH levels, or maybe you just like want to check in on yourself. There's actually pH level strips that you can buy. I looked on Amazon. I'll link them in the description to this episode. It's $8 for 40 of them. And if you maybe had sex with somebody new, or your vagina's off, whatever, test your vagina and you can see if it's healthy or not. So what is a tip that you have for the men listening?
Look, fellas, y'all like your balls played with? Women like their clits played with. Think about what they want done to them. And what I've learned is this. With women, if you want their greatest performance, you have perform best yourself the first time. Like, you got to give them what you're expecting. Yeah. Right? So when you're down there, don't do the alphabets. Don't do that. It'll feel like that. Like somebody's like A, B, C around the clit. Like, no one has time for that. No. What you want to do is you want to actually engage with her one-on-one and ask her, what you like? Is this your spot right here? Like, you like that? Yo, this is good? Yo, this is straight? Because every woman's vag is different. Some can't take direct contact. So just because you bury your face in the pussy don't mean you're going to be successful.
Also, nose. Using your nose.
Come on. That adds a little extra
pressure.
Yeah, just a little extra. Yeah. And then also understand how it works. Like, you can't just go to the hole. Don't go to the hole, okay? There's a whole, it's a whole organism. Yeah. You got to know how that thing works. So you pull that valve back, pull the hoof back, and you go straight to the clitoris. This is for my bros. You don't use your teeth. Do not ever use your teeth. No. If you don't want teeth being used on you, you don't use them on anybody, okay? And all you do is, when you just slowly, and do it gentle, don't be rough. You do enough to where you can gauge by her body's response if she likes it. Do just enough. Just enough. If her body reacts, she likes it. If she's not moaning, she's not moving, she's not shivering or quaking, bro, you're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. So slow down. There's no shame in say, hey, guide me. Some people like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just be really gentle with her, but just gauge it by her body. Her body will tell you every time if she really came. Not that fake shit. When she's faking it, just get you off of her. Like, no, if she's shaking and she's doing the whole 9, you're in the right ballpark.
What's something that, like, immediately attracts you about somebody?
Ooh, it's the way they carry themselves. If she carries herself like it's just a true queen, like, oh, you got me. Like, what's up?
So confidence.
Hell yeah. And just, like, just being classy. Like, I like a very classy woman that just, like, owns the room with her femininity, doesn't really have to, like, be provocative, but she could to shake the table, but she just choose not to. She just owns the room with herself. Are you
attracted to more feminine women or all types of women?
Feminine. I can't be with somebody just as masc as me. We'd be fighting.
You need the contrast.
Yeah, I need a contrast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That makes sense. All right. So we're going to move on to the next segment.
I survived the bag. Yeah! I survived the bag.
So this is Sex in the News. So we're going to go through a few news things and we'll talk about it. A 55-year-old Arkansas man faces drug and sexual indecency charges after a deputy says he spotted him having sex with a stuffed animal. According to court documents, a sheriff's deputy saw a vehicle at 12:45 a.m. rocking back and forth. The deputy then looked inside the vehicle and saw the man having sex with a stuffed animal. All right, so look, I feel like we should leave this poor man alone. You have to be in some place in your life to be fucking a stuffed animal in your car. And also, it was at 12:45 at night. Like, he wasn't hurting anyone. And you know what? I used to hump a pillow as a kid. I get it. Yeah. I get it. So I feel bad for this guy, you know?
I feel bad for him too, but it's like, damn, I feel even worse because he done made the news. You know what I mean? Like, it was one thing. He was like, yo, I'm just about to give this stuff down to the business. Like, I'm about to just knock this nut off real quick. Yeah. Then my man,
they also did find meth in his car too.
Okay, maybe the meth encouraged him. The meth encouraged him to fuck
what stuffed animal do you think it was?
It had to have been like something from like the Winnie the Pooh collection. It was probably Eeyore. He was fucking Eeyore.
He was fucking Eeyore.
Fucking Eeyore.
This poor man. I feel bad for him. Honestly, you have to be in a really bad place.
Oh, no, you do.
Seriously.
Dude was probably somebody who never really could get ass on his own.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Like, he couldn't even afford a prostitute. He had to go get a stuffed animal.
All right, next. A new drug to prevent STIs will soon be recommended by the CDC. Studies show that a single dose of doxypep taken within 72 hours of unprotected sex dramatically cuts the risk of infections. The antibiotic would be taken only by gay and bisexual men and transgender women who have had an STI within the previous year or who may be at risk for one. Patients are given a supply of pills and told to take one within 3 days of an encounter during which they might have become infected. A drug like this is really important, people are saying, because in 2021, there were 1.6 million cases of chlamydia and 700,000 cases of gonorrhea and nearly 177,000 cases of syphilis in the United States. And that comes out to $1.1 billion in direct medical costs.
Jeez.
Also, gonorrhea cases have increased by 118% since a historical low in 2009. And syphilis was nearly eliminated in the U.S. About 20 years ago, but cases have risen by 74% since 2017.
Y'all gotta stop fucking. That's what that is. Y'all gotta slow the fuck down.
All this poly shit.
Shit.
Evidence so far supports doxypep's use in only men who have sex with men and transgender women. In those groups, the antibiotic cuts rates of syphilis and chlamydia by about 90% and gonorrhea by about 55%.
Just slow the fuck down. You don't have to fuck everything moving, okay? I know you guys have hormones. I know hormones rage. I know you have erections. I know your fucking twats get hot. Slow the fuck down. This is why there's a fucking increase of all these infections.
Maybe they should be using a stuffed animal.
They should have been in Arkansas. That's what it is. You should have been in Arkansas.
Next, in sadder news, India's Supreme Court ruled against legalizing same-sex marriage, but has made civil unions legal for lesbian and gay couples. Basically, the court has passed the responsibility back to Parliament. So it's not great, but I guess it's somewhere.
We're not going to legally recognize you niggas, but you could go ahead and shack up. That's literally what they said, right? Yeah, that's literally what they said. Like, you could be the girlfriend for life, but if your partner dies, you'll have no spousal support. Jeez, okay.
All right. This month, the FDA approved the marketing of a new treatment for erectile dysfunction. And it's a topical gel called Erexon.
Don't do it, bros.
And it's the first topical treatment for the condition to be made available without a prescription. The gel helps men get an erection within 10 minutes, and that's faster than current oral options, including Viagra, which can take around 30 minutes to an hour to kick in. But because data from full clinical trials has not been published, it's unclear how effective it is. And is this going to be something like spermicide? Because I have used spermicide before, and that shit fucks up your vagina. Do not, if you're even thinking about it, just don't do it.
Just don't.
It fucks up your shit. And that's what I kind of think about in regards to that. Like, do you wash off the gel after? And,
See,
you know,
all these questions. Look, I got a natural remedy for my bros out there. If you want to know how to get that shit up, go to your local apothecary, get you some ashwagandha. Yo, go to the herbs, bro.
What is that?
It's a whole herb out here, and it literally helps with erections for men. It also helps with women too. Like, and you have all of these natural herbs. Go to your local apothecary, and at the apothecaries, they have like literally all of these homegrown remedies, these herbs and things of the earth. All of this stuff, yo, and I'm a big believer in God, yo. So y'all believe in, y'all listening to Moti walk with God. God is with Moti everywhere she goes. So I'm going to tell y'all, go to the things of the earth for your solutions. And if you're stressed out, just know your stress can affect your sex life.
Hell fucking yeah,
It's affected mine. I'm telling you, if you don't want to be assless, you better get that stress under control, okay? Because if you're trying to clap cheeks...
How do you get your stress under control?
Music. Thank God for that.
So something I wanted to talk about with you is masculinity, but not in the way that you probably think. I want to talk about female masculinity.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Kimberly Pierce, who made the film Boys Don't Cry, once said, "Butch is a female body that wants to stay in a female body but loves female masculinity." So I'm curious, do you identify as butch?
Yeah. That would be the closest thing. Butch, stud, dom, those are the terms. Oh, there's a lot of derogatory terms like bull dagger and all those things you hear growing up. But yeah, that's me right there. Like, I like that I'm a female. I've learned to accept that. But I understand that I have more masculine tendencies than the average female. And I've learned to accept that.
How would you define female masculinity or your personal masculinity?
Yeah, my personal masculinity is like, yo, I could lead any group of people. I could lead men and I could lead women. And usually I'm in the position where I'm leading both. It's like I carry myself like I have big dick energy. And I don't even try to do that. Like I just naturally do. It's just how I've always been. I don't know how to explain that. Like I just always been this way. But I'm embracing it.
Now you're finally embracing it.
Hell yeah. I wasn't allowed to growing up because I had a very hyper feminine mom. So she was the heels and the makeup and the dresses and the nine. And I was opposite. So she would try to fix me and I would try to appease her. And for a very long time.
How would she try and fix you?
Oh man, put me in dresses and praying the gay away. You know that whole thing.
Oh, praying the gay?
Oh
Really?
yeah. Yeah, my family was big on trying to pray that gay away.
So they knew you were gay?
Yeah, I came out at about like 13 and a half, 14.
Oh, you were really young then.
I was very young. And they thought it was a phase. But I was like,
right?
they always think that. So they sent me down to the prayer line. They put me in like a little prayer circle. Had tried to have a little exorcism.
Exorcism. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Exorcism.
They put me in a circle to try and pray the gay away. And they were like that spirit of homosexuality, come out of her in Jesus' name. They did all that, bro. I was like a freshman in high school.
What was going through your brain?
I was severely traumatized. And then I had to go to school the next day. So
it happened like after school?
Yeah, it was after school. My grandparents like have notoriously had prayer meetings twice or 3 times a week. And I grew up always kind of being around that. So they took me to one of the prayer meetings when they didn't tell me why I was going. I thought I was like just going to be there a couple of hours, do homework or whatever. Well, till
so
my mom
they
came
tricked
back.
you?
Yeah. Which is very opposite of God, by the way. I just want to point that out. And before anybody gets like a bad taste in the mouth of like God and being Christianity, like I'm still a Christian and I still love God. But that was not a representation of him. And I'm able to see that that was more so a them thing than a him thing.
How do you understand your own personal religion now in relation to Christianity?
I was so severely hurt by a lot of the stuff I saw. And I was down to like having the lowest time of my life. I wasn't thinking about a deity higher than my own. I wasn't thinking about anybody else. I was just in this U-Haul relationship. We moved to Vegas. We were on the rocks. And I literally had someone who was like, my godmom, as a matter of fact, she was like, yo, I got a message from God. I got to come out there and talk to you about it. I'm like, whatever. She was here at the time. Mm-hmm. She paid, flew, and everything. And for 2 days, she literally like spoke life into me and literally spoke life back into me from the grave to where I had a desire to live. That's the God that I now acknowledge because he sent somebody for me specifically when I was not looking for him and I did not care about a higher power or myself, living or dying. I was so on the in-between. Like if I died, I would have been good because the suffering would have ended. And if I lived, I would have been more miserable because why? The suffering continues.
Yeah.
But for him to send someone that I wasn't expecting, at the time we weren't as close, our relationship became fortified after.
So you were like saved while you were out in Vegas is what you're saying.
I reconciled my relationship with God back in Vegas, I would say.
There's very few people I think who can say that.
Why? Because usually you go to Vegas for
lose
debauchery.
God there.
You usually go for the green room.
Yeah.
You're usually out there acting a fool.
So let's bring it back to when you were younger. So you grew up in a very Christian household.
Very
in Compton.
traditional. I grew up in LA.
Okay.
All over. Like, so I've lived in Compton. I've lived in Long Beach. I've lived in LA. I've lived in Inglewood. I grew up single mom. She was 17 when she had me.
Wow. So
we grew up together. That's my story. That's my story. We raised each other.
And do you still talk to her?
No. We are no contact right now.
No contact.
No, fuck that. We're no contact because it got to a point where I started unpacking my trauma and I was looking at our dynamic and it was so toxic. And I realized that if I remained in that relationship, I would lose me. I was putting myself on the back burner to appease her. She was getting gratification because I would conform to what she wanted. But I was miserable. I did all this just to sit at the dinner table on Thanksgiving and still go home feeling empty. So what the fuck for? And I started noticing like she always had a problem. It was always something she was nitpicking at. And then I started feeling oh, this isn't love, this is tolerance. There's a difference between the two feelings. When someone loves you, you know that. They're not always looking to change you or fix you or always mend you or something about you that's wrong. When someone loves you, they see you for you. Because love is patient, it's kind, it keeps no record of wrongdoing, it delights in the good for you, it doesn't delight in evil, it's always rooting for you, always hopes for the best, always wants for the best. And that's 1 Corinthians 13:4, I think. But that's the true definition of love. So what I thought all those years was love was not love.
So you didn't experience like the unconditional love that like a parent should have for
the closest
their kid.
thing that I got from that was my grandfather, who has dementia now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and we had a major falling out. And it sucks because when you are dealing with somebody who has dementia and they have a story in their mind that they're convinced of, that they believe is real and what really happened, you can't change that. You can't. You just got to leave it at that.
So he's like not really who he was anymore?
No. You don't really talk about this. Like when you deal with aging family members and it's all this other shit you got to deal with. You know, he had the dementia. We don't even like talking about him having dementia. And this is the problem with my dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
They don't talk about issues. And everyone at the table, we're sitting around on holidays and we're a bunch of strangers that don't know each other because everyone has these deep secrets that we don't discuss. We keep it surface, but we sweep it under a rug so that we can pass the cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving, so that we can do the gift exchange on Christmas.
Yeah.
And what the fuck is that? Because we don't have a unit. We don't have a family. You know, so I think about him and how he raised me. He raised me to be strong. He sees the world in me. Even with the dementia, he sees the world. It's times where I'll see him going in and out of the consciousness and in and out of that. And he'll always step in the father role with me. No matter how sick he is, no matter what's going on, he will always step in the father role and just remind me of who I am. So I love that man with the core of my being, and I miss him very much. So.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's the Jack. Don't even look at the tears, bro. This is part of the healing.
It is. So growing up, you have this family. They're not talking about stuff around the dinner table. Passing around that cranberry sauce. Nothing's happening. How do you start to create your own family and accept who you are? Because you came out to them. You said, I'm gay.
Did. Hey, hoes, I'm gay. What's the problem?
Where did you go? And how did you find family?
Oh, I went to the furthest corners of the earth. Because like once you feel rejected, you just immediately remove yourself. And I went as far away from them as possible. I started meeting people who just fucked with me. Like they didn't see all that stuff my family saw. They didn't have any problems with me. They loved me for being me. And I started building this tribe of people that are like legit my family. And I have brothers and I have sisters. I hang out with more people that I am not blood related to than anything. And you just kind of have to find your niche. You have to find your people. And the only way that you can find that is by not blaming yourself. I blamed myself for a lot of my misfortunes. And some of that shit was me. Don't get me wrong. Because I was raggedy out here. Real raggedy.
How were you raggedy?
Because I was traumatized. When you have not been taught and educated and trained on how to navigate through life, you will have a raggedy ass experience because you're hitting your head literally through trial and error. You would not have liked me 5 years ago. You wouldn't have not been able to stand me. I was an asshole.
Why do you think that?
I was like always sarcastic, condescending on purpose. On purpose.
As a defense.
I'd rather be this dick to you up front than to let you come in and hurt me. Cause fuck you. That was my energy. Like, cause fuck you. I don't even know you, but fuck you because of what they did to me. And I had to leave that alone because them is them. And that literally opened me up to be able to experience love from other people when I stopped blaming everything that I experienced from my childhood on everybody.
What were some of your like first experiences with your sexuality and embracing your sexuality?
I was a child. I started off very young. I was very curious. Very curious. And I want to like talk to anybody with kids to protect your kids. Because in my curiosity, I could have got taken advantage of. my dad had a heavy porn collection, and I had got into it. When I tell you the porn collection was extensive, he had this pink case. I don't know what he thought he was doing, but he had like this pink box that he kept everything in.
And it was a little obvious.
Sir, first of all, you don't even wear pink. Like, what? Like, it was just like, what? And when the first time I saw a woman get her back blown out, I was like, my God, I need more of this. What is this?
So you took one of the tapes?
Yeah, popped them in. I was like 5. And I was always tech savvy.
Oh,
so
wow.
back then, I'm not trying to age myself here, but it was VHS. It was VHS.
Yeah.
So I knew at 5, when I eject this tape, I'm going to need to rewind it. So he don't know how much of it I watched. So I had 2 different households that I was like bouncing between. I had a dad who had like this... He had like this sex fetish, and he had toys and porn, and like he would talk about the women he liked, and we would look at them together type shit, right?
So do you think he knew that you were gay?
I think my dad knew. I think he was rooting for that shit, because then we would have something to talk about. Like, we would have common ground. We could talk about that. We could talk about my life when I was with my wife and things like that. We could talk about those type of things. And he was always really good at being a conversationalist. Terrible dad, though.
Where is he now?
Where are you, Kevin? I don't know. Hope you're okay. I don't know.
He's just gone.
No contact with him.
No
I cut him
contact.
off too, because I was tired of getting nothing, but you want all the praise and accolades of being a present father. Nope.
So you learn about sexuality really early.
Yeah.
You come out at 13.
Yeah.
And when was it that you first started embracing your masculinity?
I would say a couple of years ago when I started embracing it, but I began trying to like understand it at age 14. I went to high school in the early 2000s, so it was the big baggy clothes movement. I had the baggy clothes, I had the hat to the side. I was trying to figure it out, right? But I didn't have anybody to help me understand it. I had to learn trial and error. I had to learn.
Did you have any like media or?
No, that's the coldest thing. Like, this is how I know this is who I am naturally. I didn't have anything around me influencing me to be who I am right now. This is just my natural orientation. Like, when I just roll over out the bed and I don't think about it, this is the shit I'm doing.
That reminds me of in the 40s and 50s, there were women who identified as butch. And at that time, it was like illegal to dress masculine, and there were women who were risking their lives
literally
to dress masculine. And so that's how you like know that it's like something innate, right? And so you were finding that on your own too.
On my own. And to your point, especially because back then they didn't have media that were like pumping that shit up, promoting it, and encouraging it, right? So these women literally were embodying how they felt on the inside, and they were just expressing that outwardly. That's what they were doing. And same with me.
Carrie Manders wrote this in the New York Times. To many people, butch style remains an oxymoron. There's a prevalent assumption that we're all fat, frumpy, fashion disasters. Our baseball caps and baggy pants suggest to others that we don't care about our self-presentation. But it's not that we're careless. It's that, unlike, say, the white gay men who have been given all too much credit for influencing contemporary visual culture, we're simply not out to appease the male gaze. We disregard and reject the confines of sexualized, commodified femininity.
Hell yeah.
How would you describe your personal style, and how does it defy the male gaze?
Oh, it defies the male gaze because, first of all, it's not for the male gaze. Everything I do is for the female gaze.
Hell yeah.
Let's just keep that shit a buck. First of all. Second of all, it defies the male gaze because it's not like I'm trying to fit into that societal norm of looking like your ordinary woman. I know it's changed in 2023 where the ordinary woman, it's like literally 50 shades of womanhood now.
Totally.
But I've lived through so many generations and decades where I've lived through that shit and my style ain't changed. If anything, I've just been figuring out how the fuck to look better and better, So like this is just me. And this is how I'm comfortable. And if you like it, cool, we can rock. If you don't, fuck you, but God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is. It's like, yo, hey, whatever. But and I do want to take a second to talk to the masculine presenting people and tell them, like, yo, rock that shit. Rock that shit. So the fuck what? I had this big thing in high school. My mom first found out I wore boxers. It was like the biggest thing in the house. And she threw all my boxers away. And she was so mad. She cut up my clothes. She was pissed. She was pissed as fuck. And it was the fact that even after she did that, and everything in her was trying to put me in panties and thongs and boy shorts, that I still knew in my heart of hearts, nah, I'm a boxers person. That I knew back then, like, yo, this is really who I am. And I'm not trying to do it to piss anybody off.
Yeah.
I like what the fuck I like. And I wear what the fuck I wear.
Why did it take you so long? Because you said that it was only until like 5 years ago that you really embraced your masculinity. Why did it take you so long to get there?
When I tell you they beat me upside the head with the God thing, that's what it was. And it was because they used that approach that I spent so many years having to unlearn. Like, no, it's not really God. It's really them. They were using God as a weapon. But this is what he says about you, and this is what he thinks about you, and he actually made you. So he knows you feel that way.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you're talking about God so much, because I was raised, I've never been to church before.
Really? This church right now?
Yeah, this is, I was never expecting church to happen in my bedroom, but here we are.
Everywhere I go, baby.
Yeah, I've never been to church. I was raised agnostic.
Right.
It's interesting because I have a friend who was traveling recently, and she said that people in the West, we have so many things that we don't need God, but in other places of the world they still need God. They need a religion, and you know, it's like a privilege to almost like not need God.
Wow. That's an interesting perspective. And to her point, you really don't realize how many privileges that you have until you go somewhere else. When I went to the DR for the first time, like, and I went broke. I went broke with like
Wait, sorry, what's DR?
The Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
I was in Punta Cana. I was in
the
I'm so sorry, Kayla. I be forgetting my girls from Canada. Anyways, I went to the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana, and I went with $200, which is what I thought was broke. But my $200 stretched the entire trip. I was able to take pieces of that $200, leave tips for housekeeping, and bless some of the village kids, because we had went on an excursion, and on the excursions, that's when they get to interact with the tourists, the people from the actual native land.
Yeah.
They didn't have nothing. And so here I was thinking I was broke, here coming from this first world country, you know what I mean? I'm in a third world country now, and they're looking at me like I'm wealthy. They were treating me like I'm wealthy. I had $200.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So what is it that you desire for your sexuality and for your also gender expression in the future?
You know what? Jeez, that's a good question. I want to just be able to just be me.
Yeah.
You know, like I may come with a whole bunch of complications and all of that from the outside looking in, but I want to be okay with that. Like, this is me. I may be rolled up into some very interesting gift wrapping here, but I'm a fucking prize.
Yeah.
I want to be able to like believe that in my inner knowing and walk in the embodiment of that shit. And I also want to be able to tell my story, because I really have this strong feeling, Caitlin, like I'm not the only person who probably feels this shit, but everybody who's masculine's been holding their breath, waiting on somebody to just finally start the conversation so they can be like, oh, fuck, me too. So I want to be that person. Like when I was younger, I would look for people anywhere that I could relate to, somebody I can be inspired by, somebody that would just like motivate me in a way where I related to them and I could see myself in them, and I just couldn't find it.
Have you found it now?
Yeah, it's in myself.
It's really interesting that you mentioned that, because I think like masculine women and butch women are really underrepresented, and there's like not a lot of there's just like not enough representation or conversations happen about butchness. Because like for today, I always like go in and I look up past podcast interviews about just like being butch, and there really wasn't a ton of stuff out there.
They'll give us one every blue moon. They gave us Rosie O'Donnell, right?
Ellen DeGeneres.
They gave us Ellen. right?
No, there's no more
there's
Ellen.
nobody.
Yeah, she's
there's
gone.
nobody now. Dude, we don't have any fucking body.
Yeah.
But you see all of these like trans women who are like being promoted and given these platforms, and these gay men, they're being hyped, and you don't see any mask representation. And it's like, well, shit, do I gotta be the one? That's how I feel sometimes. Like, do I gotta be the one? Because somebody gotta represent these groups of women who need fucking representation.
Yeah.
Who are begging for somebody to just come on the scene that gets it and owns that shit. And that's what I've been working on. I know I'm supposed to be something. I just don't know what entirely yet.
Yeah.
But I know like my heart is, there's a special place in my heart for mask women, period. And just lesbians. Because I've walked that line and I get it. And also in the lesbian community, y'all stop all these unnecessary fucking rules. Like mask women, you can't openly discuss around other mask women that you've been being penetrated. Even with your woman. Like you look like, oh, so now you like dick? Oh, you're bi now. Like that's the attitude. And no. Like we're already a marginalized people. You guys stop making divisive rules in the community that's already put to the side by the majority. Knock that shit the fuck off. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I literally got into a knockout, drag out argument on the internet, of course. Oh, God. That's why I be having to walk away some time from the internet. Behind that shit. Because they swore I was bisexual because I said there's nothing wrong with a masculine presented woman being penetrated by her woman. And it's not. If that's what she wants.
Yeah.
If that's what she wants, right? What makes her bi is if she's being penetrated by a man. That's literally in the definition of bi.
Being bisexual.
That's literally in the definition. But not to masculine women because they want you to walk in the line that they have placed and with all these fucking stereotypes because that's where they want to be.
Yeah.
But if you want to be throwing it back for your girl, throw it back for your girl. What y'all do in y'all bedroom is between you and her. And that's the one thing that my ex did. If she didn't do nothing else, she made me comfortable in my masculinity.
Do you feel like you are treated in the public as a black man more than a black woman?
Yes. Until I'm around black men. Black men treat me like a black woman. Everyone else treats me like a black man, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
I've had people clutch their purses, their pearls, pull the stuff close. You know what I mean? I've even had it depends on the black man too, because I've had black men challenge me. That's another thing that you have to deal with.
Challenge you in what way?
When you are masculine presenting and a natural alpha, I'm a natural alpha. I don't try to be anything else. You'll have other alphas that'll try to challenge your alpha. And if it's a man, he'll try to challenge you on the strength of how dare you try to be this masculine presenting and this in my face. And I'm a man. As a man, I'm supposed to be here. You're a woman. You're supposed to be down there.
Yeah.
So I've dealt with that a lot. I deal with that a lot, especially with very masculine men, like the toxic masculinity type.
What kind of place does that put you in, like in the public?
Fight or flight. I'm always in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Which sucks because then I have this face right here and I'm all scrunched up because I'm trying to analyze the situation. I'm looking, I'm scanning threat, non-threat, threat, non-threat, what's going on around me. And that could be off-putting. I could literally be missing opportunities because my face looks so fucking contorted. I look mad, and it's not like I'm mad. You know, I'm navigating. There's two different things. Like I'm navigating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that type of thing, like you have to deal with that a lot.
And even earlier, you just moved to Culver City. And for those who don't know, Culver City is a neighborhood in LA, and it's a whiter neighborhood for sure.
I'm the blackest thing there.
And it made me sad when you said that you were like, I feel like the most dangerous. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm the most dangerous thing in the neighborhood over there. To them.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, has it been imposed that you're dangerous on you? Like somebody has like made you think that you're dangerous, or
you just know the difference. Like I grew up in the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I grew up in the inner city. Like I you know the difference when you grew up in the ghettos and you got that edge to you, and then you go somewhere where wealth is being distributed easily, and then you take that and put that in that type of environment. The way people look at you, like even when I talk, my mannerisms and all, like, it's very much so urban. It's very much so ghetto. It's very much so hood. You know, and it's not like I'm trying to be like that. Like that's literally my upbringing. Like I grew up in the inner city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like in areas like that are wealthier, people are more so looking at you as the threat in those areas. Versus when I go to the hood, I'm blending right in. So it's like that type thing.
So do you feel more exposed where you are right now?
Hell yeah. I make sure like, and you don't even realize it, but subconsciously I start removing my hood, especially at night. I take my hood off, make sure my glasses, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to be a threat. You don't try to be a threat.
Well, you're not a threat.
Hell no, I ain't no threat. Unless you fucking threaten me, then I'm a threat.
That's a different situation.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
But just walking up and down the street, no. I'm just as grateful to be alive as you are. Mm-hmm. When you see somebody of color in your neighborhood, don't necessarily perceive them as a threat. And don't go out your way to be overly neighborly either, because we can peep that. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Like, hey, black guy, hey. Waving across the street, how are ya? Don't you tell me you like Kamala Harris. Yeah. I mean, that does nothing for me. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. And just realize I'm a citizen of this earth just as much as you are. That's all. And not every black person is sipping on 40s and drinking malt liquor and smoking cigarettes on the curb. I know that that's what our BET has programmed y'all to think that's what we do, but we are actually a very dope species, and not all of us move like that. Period. Just educate yourselves and come out of your privilege sometimes.
How do you want to move forward in the next 5 years?
Ooh.
And what do you want for yourself, but also for your sexuality?
For my sexuality, I want to continue to like overcome all of the daily barriers and the things from my past that literally were like designed to keep me boxed in and to make me feel inadequate. That's the first thing. The next thing is I want to be able to I want to be so free in who I am. I want to embrace who I am. I want to understand her. I want to love her. I want to make space for her. I want to applaud her. I want to cheer her on. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be her biggest champion. And when I say that, I don't want it to be like when things are good only. I want to be 180, 360 around the clock with that shit. And I want to be able to like get it to a point where I believe it. If I could do that in the next 5 years, that'd be great. But if it takes the rest of my lifespan, that's okay too.
I believe you can do that.
Hey!
I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And it's how I finish all of my interviews.
All right. Mm-hmm.
What is a slut to you?
See, before I met you, Kaylin, it wasn't a good thing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I changed your opinion on it.
Yes, you did. So now it's just like, it's someone owning their sexuality. It's someone embracing who they are and walking in that. They could also be somebody who's sexually liberated to be free to be whatever, sleep with whomever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when I used to hear that word slut, it was such a negative connotation. But now that there's been such a movement on sexual empowerment, it's like, yo, a slut can be anything. It could be good, bad, or indifferent. It depends on how the person who is claiming the title wears it.
Definitely.
How'd I do? I did okay?
I think you did okay. Thank you. How do you think you did?
I don't know. You won't know until the episode airs.
You won't know.
I don't know.
Right. You did great.
I did okay?
You did great.
Okay, I took you to church for a little bit.
Yeah, you really did take me. I was like not expecting. Sluts, I hope this conversation has been comforting to you this holiday week. And thank you, Multi, for coming on the show. It was such a pleasure to have you. You can follow Multi on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Multivision. That's Multi VSZN. And her links are in the description to this episode. Also, stay tuned. She will be releasing new music in the future. If you have a slutty story or fantasy, call or text 910-745-SLUT. That's 910-745-SLUT, and tell me all about it to be featured in the last episode of the season. Sluts, make sure you're subscribed to the show and rate it 5 stars wherever you're listening, and share it with a friend or on your social media. Also, make sure you're following at Caitlin Dryden and at Slut Podcast on Instagram and at Slut Pod on TikTok. But on TikTok, the L is an I to stop me from being shadow banned. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Slut Podcast, even if you don't listen there. It's really important to do this so the show can find more sluts like us. If you'd like to purchase a Slut sticker pack, go to slut-pod.com. That's slut-pod.com. Slut is created and hosted by me, Caitlin Dryden. This episode was edited by Serena Lang, and it was engineered by me. Graphics are by Keisha Gargarello, and the song is also by me, but with some help from Michael Mason and Corinne Davis. And thank you for getting slutty with me. Let's meet here same time next week, okay?